So here we are down to the last leg of the build. Now hopefully, now we've got our matte coat on, you can probably see a little bit more clearly the detail that is actually kind of going on here. Too close coming in. Right, hopefully you can sort of see like these streaks, they have come out that little bit more. You can see them just there, maybe a little bit just here, maybe not. They're rather light. We've got another one just here, maybe just rotate down in the camera. You can just see those nice streaks. They do come out a little bit more. I do find it's better just to go light with them rather than too strong in too many places. Hopefully you can see the pigments, you know, I like the way they sort of come out as well, and actually the chippings come out, come forward a bit more. That's what I like about the matte coat. The gloss coat, the shine seems to take away sort of a lot of the detail the shine does, which is why I don't like doing, you know, glossy models. I like doing nice matte ones because you get all that kind of sort of weathering detail coming through when you get the matte coat on. But just to finish this off, we've got two last little steps, and the first step is, I've already done a couple of navigation lights. What we need here is we just need to get piece number 2, well T2, just here. Now the instructions ask you to go off and use Tamiya's X25 and X27. They're green, they're sort of clear green and red paints. What I like to do is I like to use Citadel's Warpstone Glow and Evil Sun's Scarlet, both red and green, nice paints. We need the red for this particular navigation light, and I just like to paint inside the actual clear part, not on the outside. We leave the outside all nice and you know, clear part, shine and everything. So just on the inside we're going to pop in a nice bit of red just on the inside, just there. Got to leave that to dry for a bit. So while I'm leaving that to dry for a bit, let's do one other little final piece, which is our antenna wire. Alright, so what we're going to use for this, absolutely love this stuff. I got this one from Models I Go, and it's a nice, it's called EZ line, and it's the fine version. Really good product to get. You know, when it comes to these antenna wires, it's really nice because it's nice and elasticated. Whereas what you get in the kit, you get this sort of metal wire that comes with the kit. You know, it's probably going to look nice, but I can just imagine how easily breakable that's going to be, because it's something sort of solid. You knock it, boom, it breaks off. With this EZ line, you'll see what I mean when I put it together, and the elastication of it kind of really does give you that sort of well, non-breakage sort of factor to it. So I'm just getting it off my little bit of Tamiya masking tape there. And what we want to do, we want to get out a nice little palette here. I'm just using, you know, a bit of scrap lid, and we're just going to get out our Zapper Gap, and we're going to be using medium CA glue for this one, and hopefully it's going to pour out, but it never does the first time, so we always need to come along. Well, I find I do anyway. And I just like to get a little bit of a drill a hole, and there we go. If we've got any excess glue on the end of our drill, lighter on that cleans it up perfectly. So I'm just pouring a bit of that onto our little palette, and what we want to do here is we just want to just nice and carefully glue this into place. So I'm just getting a bit of our EZ line. I'm trying to maneuver this so I can do it and show you. Getting a bit of super glue onto a cocktail stick. We're just going to place our EZ line exactly where we want it. Right, and then we're just going to get some of this super glue and put a little bit, just a nice little bit, where we want it to glue. Let that now dry. Give it a bit of a blow, and at this stage actually what you may want to use is some, if I just quickly get it off camera, you may want to get some Vital Bond. It's a nice super glue activator. Give it a bit of a shake, right, and we just give it a quick squirt. and blow, and it should nicely glue instantly. Be careful when using this stuff near canopies, and this is like the best stuff for models that have already got paint on it. For example, you may have seen me use the zip kicker. If we sprayed this on it, it's potentially going to stain the paintwork, whereas our Vital Bond doesn't. So you know, you really want to use Vital Bond at this stage. So now that's dry, what we want to do is we want to roll this along to the other end of where our antenna wire is. There we go, just get you on camera. And what we're going to do, we're going to just nicely give it a bit of a stretch, nothing too harsh, okay, just a nice bit of a stretch. Alright, so it's not kind of loose, it's just nice. Alright, and get another bit of glue on there. Alright, and then we could come back. Where's it gone? Mr. Vital Bond. Remember, canopy here, so we want to, you know, remember our angle of attack. Think about that and just give it a squirt. So we lock that into place. Right then, now we've got all this kind of loose sort of easy line going on here. So what we want to do, come in with a nice sharp blade. This I could probably do with a brand new one. Now we don't want to leave it slack, we want to pull it right nicely. So after nicely pulling it kind of nicely like so, so it's basically if you leave it slack and you cut it, you could end up with a little tiny bit sort of hanging at the end, but if you pull it as much as it would probably go, it's going to cut easier and it's going to cut it a lot finer. There we go. And then we just tidy up this other end, pull it as much as you're willing to pull it without it breaking, and it should cut nice and finer. And there we go, got that nice antenna wire going on there. You know, not quite easy to see, nice and fine. Plus, this is what I mean about breakage. I mean, look at this. I'm really sort of giving this and it ain't breaking. It's because it's elasticated rather than this metal thing. If I just did that, we'd have probably broken it ages ago. So, not bad, and we can just get our bit of Tamiya masking tape just to keep that nicely together. So now we can come back, hopefully, to our navigation light here, and what we want to do, get in our blade. Let's get you on camera a little bit here. We're just going to cut this off of the sprue now, just like so, quite nice and easy. And then I'm just going to just nicely trim it up, and this is where we've got these tiny little pieces and it's quite hard just to trim it up, but I'm just trimming it with our blade here, you know, nicely where it was attached to our sprue. That's all good now, and what we can do here, right, we get out some tweezers actually, because we don't want our hands coming in contact with Tamiya extra thin cement and the paintwork. So just getting some tweezers here, we can just get this on the end of the tweezers, just like so. Try not to hold it too tightly, because if you do, it's probably going to shoot off the tweezers. Right, so as nice as we can. Getting our Tamiya extra thin cement, we just want to get it just into place. Right, without any glue to start with. So you might be doing a bit of fiddling like I'm doing here, but you really don't want to get, sorry, I'm kind of not getting this right at the moment. But yeah, as I say, holding it with your finger can potentially lead to nasty fingerprint marks with this glue. So let's just try and get a quick bit of glue on, just so it holds. Alright, so that's just basically nice and holding now. Alright, so we can get our little blade and just lightly touch it just to make sure we're getting it in the right position, because it's just not quite there at the minute. Too much, and you don't want to pave it too much because our red paint could potentially start to melt and start oozing out. But there we go, that's nicely in position there. And then a nice little bit more Tamiya extra thin cement just to get that hold into place. Maybe a last little tiny push, and there we go, all nice. So I mean, actually that is it. This Zero is now all finished. So here she is, all nice and finished. Everything's done, and I must say it's been a very satisfactory build. I've really sort of enjoyed it. I've really loved the high precision manufacturing of this actual kit here. The surface detail is gorgeous. I mean, hopefully if we bring you in, you can just see all that lovely surface detail that's going on, and hopefully you can just see how, what I mean by not doing bleaching and post shading with this particular kit, because of how the pre-shading, because you've got so much rivet detail going on in there, how much it's just so nicely come out, and it's just not really needed any bleaching or any post shading. I mean, I did do a bit of the final, what I always do, that final kind of black post shading, but I mean normally I just go nuts with bleaching and post shading and everything. Hopefully, as you can see, absolutely fantastic cockpit in there, basically resin, you know, all nice. Even the seat belts, even though it might have been a little bit you know, with those kind of weird sticker seat belts, you know, I think they've turned out pretty damn good in the end. And the engine section, that is all good. I mean, I could probably just pop it off now. We just kind of squeeze one end down, so he says. There we go, and then it just sort of pops off really nicely. Great fitting engine there, and that's all nicely on display, looking really good. You know, and all the landing gear, you know, I've hopped on actually quite a bit about the landing gear, so to be honest, I'm not going to go on about that, but a quick look through the instructions just to kind of summarize where we've kind of come from. So basically with this kit, to give it a nice final conclusion, right, the whole fuselage inside here. Now if you remember, I mean, I sprayed all this kind of fuselage inside here. You don't need to do that. I mean, we can have a look just inside here on the actual finished one here, and you can't really sort of see behind that seat that much what's sort of going on. You can just see a bit, but you surely don't need to go all the way down and, well, do the whole thing like I did. Moving along, you know, the whole cockpit area, I've already said it's basically like resin. You're definitely getting your money's worth going on here. Really do like the way they've done this. You know, how we had that decal going on the back of our bit of a clear part, then going onto the instrument display panel. Really nice effect there. Bags and bags of detail going on. I must admit, this horizontal stabilizer was a little bit tricky, kind of, because piece E9 was plastic, and it kind of had that sort of trying to glue to it, but it needs to be a moving part, it needs to be moving. I don't know why they didn't just do what they did with, say, the vertical fin. Why they didn't just kind of put this rod inside there on photo etch, so that, you know, the rod doesn't, metal doesn't glue to plastic, so, you know, we didn't have to worry about the whole gluing issue. But, you know, they didn't put a rod on our vertical stabilizers. They probably should have done that. That would have been a lot nicer. But that was quite good. As again, the landing gear, we've talked all about that. I've shown you it gets working. As I say, this kit, you know, I did show you these panels going on here, fitting absolutely perfectly. You just cannot fault the fit on this kit. Skipping through the landing gear, as I say, it was a nice touch to have these landing flaps in different positions. You did get bombs with this. I didn't put the bombs on this because it does actually say that this is like from Pearl Harbor, and they didn't have these type of bombs on the aircrafts then. And there's the rods again. Those were a lot nicer and better to do. Skip through the landing gear. Engine, again, you know, as I say, the engine, you know, it's literally like a nice resin engine. You know, it's all there, you know, out of the box. No need to mess around with buying aftermarket parts or anything like that. So, you know, real nice engine going on there. Now, I didn't use the actual canopy masks that come with this kit because you had to actually cut them out with a blade. Didn't bother with that, just did them as I normally do. You can see a nice tutorial on how to put canopy masks, Tamiya masking tape on to make your own masks on the Genesis Models website. So, you know, I do recommend you go check that out. Also, I did notice actually how our fuel tank here, just a quick sort of tip, I glued mine into place. I did that because I wanted it to look neater, rather than, because I mean, although it does fit into place, there's always those little tiny micro gaps. I don't like them, so I like to glue them in place, a little bit of filler, and they look more perfect than if you left it unglued. However, at the end, when I tried to put our stand in there, you actually have to remove the fuel tank to get the stand and screw it in. So you know, I can't really use the stand, but I don't really need to anyway, because I mean, it was meant to be on all threes anyway. So that's just quickly going through the instructions. So me personally, I have actually enjoyed building this kit. I really have. I mean, you know, it's been kind of like it's been in stages, you know. The whole cockpit was like a building itself, and the same with the actual engine was like a building itself. It really does take you quite a considerable amount of time to kind of work your way through all these things. And the spraying side of it, as I say, I've never really ever left my model as just pure pre-shading, but because the surface detail is so fantastic, and I kind of dig, as you saw, I went to town with the whole pre-shading. It has just brought it out just the way I'd want it, which is rather nice. The weathering side of things, you know, I did kind of, you know, I think I got it nice and generally all around, you know, rather nicely with those little bits of weathering techniques that I've shown you, and it has just brought it out just nicely. The decals with this, you know, they worked rather nice. As I say, if you use the Japanese decaling solutions, but be careful about that kind of pooling up thing going on by just adding that little bit of flow improver. These decals have gone on rather nicely, no real issues. I mean, granted, they're still not cartographer decals. You still can't beat cartographer decals, but for Tamiya decals using the Japanese decaling solutions, it does work rather nicely. So no real problems with the decaling or spraying or building. I think I've hardly used any filler, and if I've used any filler, it's been, you know, a bit of Mr. Surfacer or something like this. So yeah, I would really recommend you go out and you buy this, or any one of the Fantastic Four. I know they're very expensive, but the amount of detail that you get with these Fantastic Four, it's just, you know, as I say, you've literally got a resin cockpit, a resin engine, you've got next generation surface detail. You know, it's not going to be an overnight build. You are going to be putting some serious time and work into it, and you know, I think they are literally worth every penny, just for the high level of quality. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, they have said the landing gear doesn't work. I've shown you it works. I know a lot of people have been doing write-ups and reviews saying that all these features of suspension and stuff are a little bit toyish. I would beg to differ, actually. I I'd say no, it's not toyish. I think it's just high in options, right? I mean, you're not going to go out and spend £75 for this kit, or maybe the Spitfire or the Corsair, the P51D Mustang. I mean, I know the newer ones of the Fantastic Four, you know, you're probably going to be talking about £100. You're not going to spend that kind of money and fly this around the room and play with it, you know. I mean, having the ability to open and close the landing gear just gives you an ability to how you want to display it. I know the suspension is potentially considered a little bit toyish, but then actually you can have it in a just taking off position, and as when an aircraft's taking off, the suspension is like you know, fully down, because it's not sitting on anything, and then when it's sitting down it's shortened, so actually you've got a bit of realism going on there. So I wouldn't say the suspension. The only thing really that's kind of probably toyish is this turning wheel. I mean, there's no point in having a turning wheel for a display, you know, but everything else, yeah, I mean, all the flaps open and close and everything, open and close canopy, you know, it's all about you know, you just want to change the way you want it displayed. Every 6 months you could change it into an in-flight or on the ground, whatever you want. So I don't think it's toyish. I think it's just too expensive to actually even call it toyish, because no one in their right mind is going to spend that kind of money and fly it around the room and play with it, right? It's just meant for display. The kind of people who are going to buy this are going to do a good job, and they're going to put it on display, basically. So that's basically what I think. Definitely think you should go out there and buy it, and I can't wait until it turns into a Fantastic 5, whatever it is Tamiya is going to bring out next. I mean, it's May 2014 as I'm filming this, so you know, I can't wait to see what's going to be their next release for this high quality type kits with next generation surfaces and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully you've enjoyed this step-by-step video build here at Genesis Models, and you know, hope you'll be around to see the next step-by-step video build here at Genesis Models. So until next time, my name is Bobby Waldron, and I hope you've enjoyed.